Hello, everyone. It's Aubrey Bursch with Easy School Marketing, and I'm so excited to be here with you today because we are going to talk with two special people about community building during a pandemic, which is never easy, right? So we have MJ Zafis-Garcia, a communications and marketing expert from Rayfield's School in Rockville, Maryland. We also have Sabrina Colaianni, who is part of the Home and School Association. You're the president, right?
Right.
Important roles. So thank you so much for coming today. We are going to dive into a little bit about community building, and we've heard so many wonderful things about your community, so we hope you could share. But first, tell us a little bit about yourselves and your school.
Well, thank you, Aubrey, for the great introduction. I think I can speak for Sabrina. We love our school. St. Rayfield School actually started as a preschool in 1969. So the preschool has been here for over 50 years, but what we call the big school, the K through 8 school, opened in 2006. So we haven't been around for all that long, but we are a remarkable school with fantastic parents and teachers. We won a blue ribbon in 2019, so we've got a lot to be proud of. And we are in Rockville, Maryland, just outside the DC area. And I have been at the school this is my 17th year, so long time.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea you've been there so long. That's amazing. Wow. Well, it sounds like a wonderful community. Usually people stick around when there's a wonderful community, right? So
True.
Must be. All right. Well, did you want to tell a little bit about the Homeschool Association and what role it plays? I'm assuming it's a traditional PTA type model, correct?
Exactly, yes. So we have a separate school board that serves the nursery school community, but for the K through 8 school, it's a association that's run by a steering committee. Myself, we have a tradition of keeping our past presidents on the committee so that we have some sort of continuity of ideas and history built into the planning that we do. But then every class in the school has its own rep, someone that sits in our meetings and basically talks about what's happening in the class and the ideas that are coming out of that class or the needs that that class might have. And we put it together into, whatever educational needs might need to be met, things, requests for the teachers, and the fun stuff, the stuff that we get to kind of enjoy when the school day ends.
Okay, well, that's a big role in of itself, but then you throw in a pandemic, right? And you're like, community building is a little crazy. So can you share with us some of the things that have worked well for your community? I've heard so much about them, and I know you have such a special community. I'd love to hear more about what you've tried.
So for us, community building, it starts with ideas, but it ends with people. There has developed this little group where before a holiday or before one of our traditional events was supposed to happen, we sort of powwow about, okay, so what can we not do? Why can't we do it? What's the workaround? We come up with the idea that actually will try and satisfy the needs that we have during whatever period of the pandemic we're in, because we were, planning things that were in Christmas, right when really people were talking about surges and not being able to do anything. And now we're looking towards the spring where maybe, we're a little bit more hopeful that we can do more. So we're trying to generate as many ideas, through this core group as possible to kind of match our circumstances. And then once we think we have 80% of a plan, we start reaching out to people. We see who's available because, everybody's schedule is so different now. Just because you have an idea doesn't mean you'll be able to execute on it. So then it's, hey, we want to do this, who can chip in? And we've been very fortunate because our parents have always stepped in. If we have a need, they've made it happen. People are really anxious to make sure the kids are having a great school year and that they as families have a chance to still, have fun together. So it's really worked out nicely.
Wow, that's so true.
This pandemic, we've had fantastic HSA presidents over the years. They've all been fabulous. But Sabrina, during a pandemic, just fell down from heaven. She's a full-time attorney, but she calls herself, what do you say? You've got your alter ego as a party planner. Is that right, Sabrina?
So she has these two sides of her brains working, where she's, extremely organized and logistical and whatnot, but she's also super, super fun. So we have an event that every year, actually it's a parish event called Breakfast with Santa. Well, of course you can't have breakfast with Santa during a pandemic. So Sabrina teamed up with our nursery school board president, and the two of them, that's Sean O'Brien, are a fabulous team. The two of them came up with the concept of bringing Santa to us. So we had a drive-by Letters for Santa event, which was phenomenal. So for 2 hours, I think it was an hour and a half, maybe, in the really, really cold day, we had cars just going through our parking lot, and we had Sean's father dressed up as Santa. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It was really Santa. Santa really came to St. Raphael School. And we had elves, our 7th graders dressed up as elves, and they were greeting people, and it was just great. So that's just one example of how Sabrina and Sean have just thought differently about, we still want to have this event. How can we make it COVID safe and still build community? And that's just one example of the many events that those two have come up with.
That's so important. I mean, the fact that because I think it's those traditions that are so part of the life of the school, right? And when you start taking them away, there's something missing. So for you all to be able to identify that need and then say, okay, we can't do what we normally did, but how can we make it still feel special, right? And still bring our community together. And it sounds like you made that happen. I mean, I can just imagine, I'm visualizing the joy on the children's faces as they're riding, through, you're driving through and dropping off their letters to Santa, and there's elves waving and stuff like that. That is such a beautiful thing. And it's moments like that connect our parents to the school and remind us why we're all here and that we're all here together for the same thing. So that's beautiful. And what a great thing. And I will say, having the logistic side and the party planner side, like that's a match, as you said, made in heaven, right?
It really is.
So that's fantastic. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share about community building now and as you're moving into the future as well?
I think for me, it's making sure that you have every part of the community covered. We sort of said, okay, we want to have the little kids enjoy a Santa event. Meanwhile, we had, MJ mentioned we had the 7th graders be elves. Well, 7th graders are middle school kids, they're at the age, they want to have some responsibility. They want to feel like they're really doing something that's special at a more mature level. So for us, it was like, okay, so this could actually be a double win, because you can get the older kids involved and it's not just, catering to one part of the community. So to me, that's kind of what I try and do, is just making sure that nobody's left out.
That's so key. I've worked in many schools that have multiple divisions, right? Like you have multiple age groups. So how do you run something for the little ones and for the older group? And it sounds like you took that into consideration when planning this event. So that's amazing. Well, thank you. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to share, or any wise words of advice for other schools out there struggling with community building and during a pandemic, and also, balancing, being a president of a parents association and all the other responsibilities too?
Well, there's one thing I want to say that Sabrina does well also, is that she thinks in terms of not just building our own community, but helping our larger community as a whole. So another event that we have was St. Raphael Iron Chef. It was our very first Iron Chef competition, and people signed up for it. And Sabrina made it very clear, you do not have to be a fabulous cook. We're just going to give you a secret ingredients kit. So they signed up to be to participate in this event. And you also had the option of ordering pizza in addition to your secret ingredients kit, because the secret ingredients kit did not give you enough for a meal. It was just something you're going to be making, but we didn't want parents to stress over, how do I get dinner done while I'm also doing this event, because it was right around the dinner hour. So she teamed up with a local pizzeria. So parents had the option of ordering pizza and then picking up their secret ingredients kit, which ended up being from Auntie Anne. So it's a pretzel company. So the idea was to make this different types of pretzels at home with different designs. So not only was it a community builder, but it was also a fundraiser, and it supported a small business and a local franchisee. So it was a win-win-win-win with just this one event called St. Raphael's Iron Chef. So it was fabulous.
By the way, as a mom, I love that. I love that you thought of all the different things. First of all, you thought about I'm going to be baking. Well, my kids are hungry. We need food. So thus the pizza, right? There's nothing worse than not having the food done, right? So we can all have fun doing what we're supposed to be doing. And then you incorporated all the different things like the local, community, small businesses, like everything like that is so important. And you really kind of made it, and then something very popular like Iron Chef, right? And the secret ingredient. So everyone was probably wondering beforehand what that secret ingredient was, right? But I'm sure no one let the cat out of the bag, right? But that's so fun.
It was this meeting for this concept of an event where I can't really tell you what we're going to be doing because it will completely get blown if it gets out of the bag, if the cat gets out of the bag.
Oh my gosh. You sound like you have so much fun over there. I can just tell. I bet those, meetings are so fun and full of joy and ideas and creativity. And I love that you have such an involved parent body too. That's so important in the life of the school, especially now. So I'm excited. Well, those are two super fun events that you put on during a pandemic, right? Not easy at all. Well, before we go, please tell people where to find you. Where can we find you online?
We are at www.strayfieldschoolmd.org, or you can find us on the usual social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's all at SRS Rockville.
Great. Be sure to visit them and shoot them an email and tell them how much you love these ideas too, because they are great ones. And congratulations for having such an amazing team. It sounds like the school and the parents are working together to make the most out of what is kind of a challenging situation for all of us. So thank you for all you're doing for your school.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.